Okay, so this video here on YouTube is a sample. The full rebuild video is 9 hours long and can be purchased by clicking on the link in the upper right or in the video description. This video covers the CB750, the single overhead cam, 1969 to 1978 is covered. The motor in the video is in 78. They're all pretty similar, and that's kind of the generation that this video covers. Also included are some service manuals, a parts list, a tool list, and as always, email support is included. Okay, so you can buy the top end only, or the bottom end only, or the full rebuild. Top end is 4 hours long, bottom end is 5 hours long, and like I said, the full video is 9 hours long. It is freaking long. Okay, let's summarize what parts were replaced and what's included or what's covered in this video. Okay, so as you know, I bought this project for 550 bucks. I bought the whole bike and it's a complete wreck. The engine was seized. It looked nasty, corroded and dirty, and obviously now it's all brand new. So let's talk about what parts were replaced. Let's start up here. The valve guides were worn. The valves were pitted. So this was sent off to Cycle Exchange. They did a full valve job, new valves, new guides, valve job. The cylinder rings were rusted to the cylinder wall and the bores were all screwed up. So I had to go to the next over bore size, which is 0.5 millimeter over. Okay, so they did an awesome job with the machine work, super fast turnaround. I would highly recommend Cycle Exchange for any machine work that you need. Also, what I bought from them is a full gasket set, and I went with a multi-layer steel MLS head gasket because, as you know, this engine needs to be pulled for the head to be retorqued, or if you have to do the head gasket in general. And you have to disassemble half the top end here to retorque the fasteners. Not true with MLS, so that's why I went with it. I would highly recommend going that route if you can. Okay, so also new cam chain, new primary chains, all new cam tensioners, primary chain tensioner, new rod bearings, crank bearings. I had to find a better used crank because my old one was pretty roughed up. All new transmission bearings, new clutch, all new gaskets, seals. Let's see, what else am I missing here? I had Cycle X rebuild the primary chain wheel. There's little rubber bumpers in there, cushions that they rebuilt for me. Everything was vapor blasted in my DIY vapor blaster. Cycle Exchange did blast these two parts, but I touched them up with the vapor blaster afterwards to get a consistent finish. All the bolts were either replaced or replated. Now, 90% of the bolts can be ordered from the OEM. However, for the other 10%, what I did is I stripped the zinc and rust off in the vapor blaster and sent them out for replating, and they turned out really nice. So like I said, this video is 9 hours long. It's the freaking longest video I have out there right now, and it covers everything step by step. I take every transmission gear apart, every clip, every seal, every bearing. I show you how to replace freaking everything. Okay, so here's some random info for people that think videos like this should be free, okay? This took me 6 months to do, both here in the garage and at the computer editing. And as you know, or may not know, I have a full-time job and I have 4 kids. So sometimes I'm out here 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sometimes I'm out here at 4 a.m. to do a little bit of work before going to work. All this footage, the raw footage, is 200 gigs, 300 video clips that I had to put together for this 9 hours. And that's pretty much why it's not free, okay? All right, that's it for this video. Enjoy the sample and leave a comment below. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is loosen all the tappet covers. Okay, so it's a 17 mil, and make sure you're using a 6-point socket because these things mar easily. And they should come right off. And I will say that usually these are all chewed up because people use the wrong tools, and these are all in really good shape, which is surprising. Okay, they shouldn't be crazy tight on here. There's no reason to tighten these up. And there's O-rings on all of them. Okay, next up, all these Phillips screws are number 3 size, and you're going to want to use JIS screwdrivers because they fit the fastener better than a Phillips. These are Japanese screws. This here is a nice screwdriver. It's a Vessel Impacta. It has an impact driver built in, and what that means is you hit it with a hammer and it twists the screw. So the hammer impact keeps the bit in the screw, and then it gets a little twisting action. So we're going to see if this works. Sometimes it does not. You need to bring out the heavy duty impact. Again, this is a Vessel number 3 JIS. So first let's try this, because this is a $15 screwdriver. And it's not budging it. Sometimes it does not work. Okay, let's try the bigger model. It's turning, but man, it is really frozen in there. Hear that? Already got this one loose. Let's try this one. Alright, that one popped loose. Wow, that one's crunchy. Okay, here's a little tip. See how they're all sticking out about a 1/4 inch? That tells me that it's the correct length. So I don't really keep track of screws and where they go. I mean, I might bag these and with a Sharpie label it valve cover, but I never pay attention where they go because they all should stick out the same, and then you know they're the correct length. Alright, so here are these 3, and these screws are totally junk, but we'll go ahead and remove this cover. The O-ring. Might as well get these 2 screws as well. Let's get a different angle for these. We'll just start on one end and work our way. All right, some of these were really stubborn. Okay, so I left them all in, and you can see that they're all sticking out about 1/4 inch. Okay, so as you pull them out, you know, they might be different lengths, but just remember, you put them in. So you got a couple short ones and long ones. Can't really screw it up if you just use that tip. And those are very corroded. I have to replace those. Okay, let's see if we could give this a couple taps to break it loose. There we go. Got our valve cover off. Now there's 2 dowel pins. One's over here, one's over here. There's a gasket, and there's a little gear here for the tack. Okay, we're gonna get this tack gear out of the way. What I'm using here is a crappy screwdriver, and there's a little tab here that we need to bend over, just like so, and then use a 10 mil to remove this. So you remove the screw, and then this locking tab, and then we can pull this guy out. And this guy is cracked, so I'm gonna have to look for a new one. Okay, now with the valve cover off, we're gonna remove the rocker arms and the shafts. Now, in order to do that, we need to make sure that all 4 of these are off the cam lobes, so there's no preload on the spring, and that way we can slide the shafts out. So I already rolled the motor over. If you hear this, that's a little bit of play. That's your valve lash, and that means it's off the cam eccentric. It's just on the base circle of the cam.